Remember, the match was the home game for Accra Great Olympics, and it's been a while since we witnessed such scenes at the Wembley of Ghana football. We'll talk about other results, some interesting games, including Liberty Professionals coming back from 3 goals to win 3-2. Against, who did they play against? I think it was Wafa. Okay, we'll talk about that very shortly. But still here in the studio, Augustine Info for my international. And Obama, Sadiq, guys, have you caught your breath back after an exhilarating match and an exhilarating weekend of results?
Of course, for us, yeah, but very excruciating for the players. 100 minutes of football. And I think for me, the best game of the season so far.
No doubt about it.
I think that the first leg was so much exciting and impressive, electrifying atmosphere. And this particular one has also lived up to the billing. Hearts of Oak gave their best, Olympics gave their best. I also believe that Coach Maxwell Konadu and his boys bottled this. In fact, they could have won by 3 or 4 goals, even in the first half. We should not blame the referee for that disallowed goal, because it would have been very difficult for any referee, even at the international level, to be able to see that. How do we build on this? That's the question. That's the big question.
I think we'll come to that after we've looked at the game, and then also look at the other matches, what it means. Kotoko won, Hearts drew, Olympics drew, Midiama won. The permutations at the top now begins to change all over again, and at the bottom, we need to look at that as well. But I am for full marks to the players, to the coaches, maybe to the fans as well. I think they gave it a good atmosphere. We'll talk about the numbers later on, but I'm sure you enjoyed it.
I think the results is a fair reflection of what we saw. For Olympics to be able to gather themselves and come back after going down and also losing their goalkeeper, I think we need to commend them. But like I stated before the second half commenced, it was good that I saw the coach maybe heard me speak and that he put Boateng on the right to put some sort of pressure on Ovoka. And one of those pressures led to the equalizer coming from him. It was a cross from Boateng. I think as coaches, we need to read the game and effect the changes that we think will bring us results. And today, I think the Olympic coach did exactly so.
How did Olympics get a point from this game? At a point, it looked like Hearts of Oak were running wild. The crowd, the passing, the shooting.
Because immediately they went down, and the goalkeeper also getting injured, and for that long, they staying on the field without playing also did the trick, because it gave them the opportunity to recompose and come back. And for that matter, the coach was able to read and tell them what to do. But like Obama said, Hearts of Oak got the chances, but Olympics could have also carried this day if Mudasiro had been a bit calm in front of goal. Because the ball he tried to hit from the first half, the goalkeeper was out of play. It was for him to take a touch and look through to the goal and shoot empty net.
I'm sure for Olympic fans and neutrals will be wondering if that little chap Samuel Ashikwe, if he had played, perhaps we would have had a different story. He was on international.
It was a great loss, and I've kept on hammering this. The decision to allow him to travel did not go in favor of Great Olympics. Very, very bad decision. But I think that's like he provided an assist for his brother to score in the first leg of this fixture. His brother scored today, but wasn't as effective as he was in the first leg. Even Awako, their strikers failed to be fed by the midfielders. Hearts of Oak seized the midfield in the first half of the game. Olympics, I think, tactically did better in the second half with the introduction of Seven Kweku, who came into the goalkeeper. I believe that his inclusion in the game really helped them, saved the team from some goal-bound shots. Also, the decision to shift Rue from the right was very incredible. But this goal by Maxwell Abbey was really good. He had to head the ball to the ground, and so it made it very difficult for Richard Atta. Even though I think that his dive was not so much. It was not the best of dive by a goalkeeper of his caliber. He could have done better because he's bulky and very imposing in position. Being able to use his position as a goalkeeper was wrong from the header of the ball. But I believe Accra Great Olympics, from tactically, everything proved that they really wanted a draw. At least, of course, they wanted a draw with the introduction of James Akamenko and some more defensive shield to play. What do they call Lukaku? the striker that they Mudasiru in the latter stages of the game to be able to take on the counter, and he got the chances. Just that he flubbed them, but he could have gotten a goal or two for them. Samuel Boadu and Walker did their best, but the introduction of Patrick Razak in the game to me was a tactical flaw.
You thought so? What was the thinking behind that, Augustine, bringing him at that time? Because you know he's a very pacey flank player.
Yes,
cross.
I think the coach thought of his pace, but sometimes it's not only pace. I think he should have the experience of our league by now, because he's playing for like 5 seasons or 6 seasons in the league, and he should know that this is the time for me to move, and that is the time for me not to move.
Ovuka, the only mistake, at least in my, or maybe
I think he was being overconfident over there.
You know, if you look at the movement of the Olympics players, they didn't have to do much. Hartlepool were well positioned, right, but the cross came in.
There were only 2 forwards against about 5 or 6 Hasselhoff players.
And they were able to get that.
You see, that is where defenders sometimes lose concentration, because they think they outnumber the strikers, and so they really don't mark. Like Fatal, the captain of Hasselhoff, there's no way he should allow Abe to come and head the ball from that angle. There's no way.
They left him.
And either whether he saw him or he did not see him come, I don't know, because he came from behind him to come and knock the ball. But we can't really blame the goalkeeper here, because he nodded the ball down. But what the goalkeeper,
very
very difficult for the goalkeeper. He could have moved a step before throwing himself, but he stood where he was.
Let's see if we can take a look at that again, Obama, and find out if it was the effectiveness of the cross making it easier, or indeed Maxwell's header was the one that beats the goalkeeper. Could the keeper have done better with this header?
I think so. Atta did not do himself a lot of good with the dive. His positioning, because you can clearly see when the ball, it was a very clever cross. But see, when the ball was coming, the defenders had already covered one part of the post. So his position was wrong. He was even behind the defenders who had already covered that part of the post. So he had to go to the other side to be able to anticipate. The anticipation was wrong.
I'm sure it was meant for Mudasiru. His inclusion meant that now there will be more crosses. What's the build-up here? Mudasiru at this point is the only one in the box.
There's no Abe joins later.
He sees it
but
now.
The weight on the cross means that he goes past Mudasiru, and that is where Atta should have seen. He should have anticipated, because once the ball was crossed, it goes past Mudasiru, and the Hasselhoff first defender on the post. So it comes to the other side. Atta is still at the far end of the post, making it very difficult for him. I think he did well today, but he should be able to get first. Get the ball, grab the ball. As a goalkeeper, a lot of the shots that went to him, he flapped them before he comes back to get the rebound. You have very sharp strikers in the 18-yard box. Atta will be, laughing at the right hand of his.
Let's take a look at the Hartlepool goal. Gunning for goal of the season, no doubt about it. But the goalkeeper comes out here.
The goal itself, very good goal. But looking at the slow motion, Afutu just ran into the goalkeeper,
followed by an Olympics player, or the other way around.
They all land. Look.
Oh, he went into.
You saw?
Yeah, accidental, but the referee.
No, but the lines were should flag. Look, he just ran it off.
But all those incidents happened after the goalkeeper had punched the ball.
Right.
The ball was not in play there. He had punched the ball and they went in late. But the speed of the shot from Neti and the goal made it very difficult for the referee to decide. Because you cannot disallow the goal after clearly disallowing the first goal that was scored. The referee might have had an information that goal was scored.
That's how VAR is very important.
Of course,
because somebody could have also said that the goalkeeper, had he known that this guy Afutu had run into him, would have stood his ground.
Right. But it was not only Afutu.
One of his players.
The load of punch that went into the goalkeeper was from the Olympics.
Right.
The Olympics defender.
Right.
Afutu went in in air.
The area, right.
But I think that when he landed, the injury was from an Olympics player.
Yeah. So at this point, it happened so fast. But you see, was it Awako? Went straight to the referee. But look, it was a beautiful goal.
It was a beautiful goal. You can't take anything away from you.
And it would have been harsh if the referee had disallowed this. Watch the referee. His eye was actually on the ball.
Yeah.
He had taken his eye off the incident in the
That's where your line's coming.
So the line is there. He's there to help him.
Yeah, Afutu actually goes in accidentally with his head
and elbow.
Yeah, so the referee had the choice to. The referee sees it here.
Yeah.
Doesn't whistle.
He was just watching the ball.
And that is a rocket. I mean, that goal.
Good goal.
But at this point, Olympics, you've lost your goalkeeper. You're down by a goal. The crowd is noisy. They had to respond. They had to show character. Where did they get it from?
And they did. I think it was the thought of not wanting to lose to Hearts of Oak. And they playing at home also. Because the first round of the season
was away. It
was an away game. And this was their home match. So after going down, there was nothing to lose. But immediately, and Coach Eden told me something off screen, that he knew that immediately they scored, they were going to bring on Akaminko. And immediately they scored, they brought him. It means that their coach is doing something positive here. Because at this stage, let me have 1 point. It's better than to have 0 point. So immediately he brought Akaminko to bring that stability. So he brought Akaminko, he pushed Michel Otu a bit to the right, and Awaku a little bit inside left. And that did the trick. Unfortunately for Akaminko, he was lucky to have remained on the field.
That's right. We could have had a second yellow card. But then Mudasiru came in, and he said before the match he has a goal. He had 2 chances to actually score one. And what happened? Ayinfo, talk us through this. What decision?
I think he should have taken a control here. When he went past the goalkeeper, just take a touch. Here, take a touch with your left. And then the goal post will be clear ahead of you. Look, take a touch with the left and then kick the ball in there.
But defensively, Hearts of Oak did everything right. The defenders were tracking. There was only one danger man.
I think Atta was limping.
He could have had a penalty.
He should have been first to the ball.
This could have been a penalty. If
Atta had touched him.
Yeah. And a red card.
But do you know what? Mo should run across Mudasiru as a defender. There was no way, because the ball was not in the area. So run across the striker to more or less block him from rushing to where the goalkeeper was coming from. But he thought the goalkeeper was already out, or probably had gotten the ball. So he just slowed down for Mudasiru to overtake him.
And what about the Phobians? Chance upon chance.
They will be ruining the chances that they made in the first half. So many of them crossing the face of goal line. Isaac Mensah, just close to the uprights. It's a chance that you could have just tapped on, take his time to place the ball, plant it at the blind side of the goalkeeper. These are chances that you don't miss in a game that you clearly need the 3 points. This is a game that Hearts of Oak had to lose, and they lost points. That should have been very massive for them. 50-50 points at the top of the Ghana Premier League table. The home stretch
50-50.
It's only a goal difference that's separating the two teams. Incredible, but Hearts of Oak have got tougher games to play, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think there's only one big game away in Sugakope against Wafa.
The last match, and the rest, and they have very big games at home.
Right, Midiama is at
Kotoko. These are games that can potentially change the face of the season.
Right.
Because you are competing with Kotoko, and Kotoko does exceedingly well in Accra.
Away from home.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think that going into the future, the FA should look at playing all the top line matches in the evening.
It's a good point.
Yes.
But currently, which stadium, apart from the Accra Sports Stadium, I know Sugakope has the capability, but they don't. Elmina,
I think we must give credit to Legon cities.
Right.
You know, playing games in the evening comes with a cost, an additional cost that the FA is not ready to bear. If the Ghana Football Association, like I said, this is where we build on from. Look at the number of top personalities in the stadium. Why are they there? People the test for football is so there. People are so anxious to watch the Ghana Premier League. But if we are able to build them some big games like this, people will still be talking about it. How do you even create the trend going on from this week to next weekend, because it's tight at the top.
Yep.
The dogfight in the relegation zone is also on fire. How do you build on that? I'm not sure the FA president is here. I don't know, but they can still meet the general secretary. This is the time to build on to
momentum.
Sponsorship even for next season, because obviously you're not going to get any sponsor for this season. But ending the season on a very high note, marketing wise, commercial wise, you'll be able to attract some sponsors. And playing the games in the evening, it's very appealing to the eye. Medical wise, the Ghana Football Association Medical Committee has submitted a report that I'm aware of to the FA 2 seasons now to play a lot of the matches in the evening. But because of the cost it comes with, that has been placed at the top of the radar. We are always mindful of the cost and not the value that it brings to the league.
Absolutely. Maybe get a partnership with an energy company who takes care of evening matches, at these stadiums. We'll talk about the permutations at the bottom as well. Midyama winning, Kotoko winning, and then at the other side. But Olympic should be very thankful for the goalkeeper who came in, because he pulled off a couple of brilliant saves. We'll take a look at those saves in a second. I mean, coming on unexpectedly, he really lived up to expectations.
The last game I watched that he was imposed was against Wafa, and he made a blunder. And so when he was coming on through the I thought that,